Hi everybody, Dr. Kirkvold here, Engineering 314, Materials and Mechanics. I'm wearing my flannel for Flannel Friday. I hope you're wearing yours. Today I'm going to present a series of engineering design case studies. Specifically, they're going to be product design, okay? And your job is to identify the priority material properties for each of these cases. Okay, determine which properties are the most critical to the success of the design. All right, there's going to be 4 case studies. Now, notice that for these case studies, you are identifying the properties of the materials. You are not identifying the materials themselves. This is not a selection of material. This is not a material selection problem. You could have a bit of a challenge ahead of you because we haven't gone over all of that yet. We haven't introduced all of the properties. So how do we approach that? Well, let's start with, what do you know about material properties? Well, from this class, in Chapter 1, we discussed and read about material classifications, and that the properties of the materials within a classification are often fit within a certain range. So all of the metals have a certain range of densities. You also have Chapters 2 and 3 and any previous knowledge that you had before. But I want you to think about now, what is it you need to know? What do you not know? How are you going to construct this information and this knowledge? How are you going to do that quickly? Okay, this is my approach for you. I want you to push yourself to use very specific language. We are not looking for vague language here. Okay, refine your answers to become as precise as possible. I want you to find that uncomfortable edge of your knowledge and do something to describe each property specifically beyond your current ability. How you're going to do that? I don't know. You'll figure that one out. I want your focus to be on the learning and the curiosity, not on the grades. I want you to get curious, and I want you to engage that head of yours, and the more you learn this weekend, the more interesting our conversation about these case studies is going to be on Monday. All right? So here are your 4 case studies. Identify the material properties that are the priority to make the design a success. Okay? And I have one rule. You can't use the word strength. It's way too vague. Now, putting myself in your shoes, if I were doing this, I would probably start prioritizing properties by thinking about needs versus wants. Okay? Define the non-negotiables. It's kind of a next level thinking strategy that will push you up and beyond. So I would create myself a table. What is non-negotiable? Okay. Here's my example. You know, we put these water towers on the side of the highways as a beacon advertising our small communities, right? We often like to paint things on them that represent our community, and so we want it to be attractive. Ready? Here's your first one. Example 1. You are asked to select a material for the teeth of the scoop of a digger truck. Okay, wait a minute. I can't even go on at this point. That's not a digger truck. It's not a digger truck. Well, let's look at it. It's not a backhoe. How do I know that? The blade is on the front. A backhoe tends to have a body that looks like a tractor trailer, or a farm tractor, and that is definitely not a farm tractor cab. Backhoes are usually wheel driven, and this one is definitely not. It is track driven. Okay, so this is not a backhoe. It does have that 360-degree pivoting cab. That would imply maybe an excavator, right? But excavators are the really big ones. They're considered very heavy equipment for heavy-duty jobs. This one is certainly not huge and heavy. So, piece of equipment called a digger derrick sometimes, and those are excavators, and we're not going to use that. It's relatively small and light. Maybe it's a crawler loader, but it has a back-facing scoop instead of a forward-facing scoop. So it would be retrofitted maybe. I don't know. I think my best guess is that it's a European version of something that we don't see it around here in the US. And I'm guessing that also based on the fact that the authors are from Europe. So it's not a digger truck. Well, let's call it construction equipment. Let's call it a crawler loader. So you're asked to select a material for the teeth of the scoop of a crawler loader. To do so, you need to prioritize the material's properties that matter. What are they? At this point, I would pause the recording, do some work, and when you're ready to come back, hit play again, and we'll do the next one. Example number 2. You are asked to select a material for energy efficient cookware. What material properties are you looking for? Case study 3. What are the essential and desirable requirements of materials for spectacle lenses? And case study 4. What are the essential and desirable requirements of a material, a disposable single-use water bottle that does minimal environmental harm? Okay, so there you go. Those are your 4 case studies. Do some thinking, identify requirements and desirables. We will have a good conversation on Monday. We'll see you then. Be safe this weekend.